What's up, guys? Luke Dancy here. Welcome to this week's episode of Unplugged. I've got a good one for you. Our guest is kick ass. But stay tuned for that in just a sec, because I know you also like free magic. This is what I got for you this week. We've got a free copy of Sentimental for you. That's right. All you need to do is drop a like and a comment on this video, and you are entered to win a free copy of Sentimental. It really is that easy. Our winners from last week did just that, and they actually are Adam Wayne Evans from Facebook. He wins, and Louis Bars, he wins too. They both pick up a free copy of Garrett Thomas's At the Table lecture, absolutely free. Congrats to our winners from last week. Get in there, drop a like, drop a comment. You're entered to win Sentimental. Get in there, guys. All right, so this week's guest, he is a magician, he is a prankster, and he knows a thing or two about going viral in the online space. I thought you might want to enjoy this one with me, so kick back and relax and get ready for Neil Henry. How we doing, buddy?
Yes, what's up, everyone?
All right.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. Do you know what? It's such an honor to be on this straight after Garrett Thomas, who, in my opinion, is probably the most magical person that there is.
He's awesome, dude.
So, yeah.
Well, that's what's fun about this, though, is that we have a variety of people to come on and talk about different things that they're passionate and that they're good at, that they're really good at. And you're really, really, really good at what you do. And you were also kind enough to spend some time with me at the Blackpool convention where we did a whole talk on social media stuff, for magicians. So it's really cool for you to be here to help answer some questions for the guys that weren't able to get there, or maybe some people had questions after that they want to know more about. So, I kind of teed you up here, but why don't you let the guys know who you are, what you're all about, and then we'll start taking some questions and getting to know Neil Henry a little bit better.
Okay. All right. So if you are wondering who the hell I am, I'm a magician. I've been a magician for 25 years or so. And thank you, Tom. And so I used to be an actor for 10 years, and then I was a magician. Started off sort of part-time doing close-up stuff, and then about 15 years ago, I kind of went full-time doing stage shows and close-up shows. And about 3 years ago, or even 2 years ago, everything kind of changed. And now I spend my time making videos online. And some of them are magic, some of them are prank. I used to have some of the UK people, or people that have been magic shopping in UK in the past sort of 10, 15 years. I used to have with a wicked magician and a really good friend of mine, Lee Hathaway. Mm-hmm. We used to have a magic stall in Covent Garden, which was actually weirdly the very first place I bought a magic trick when I was a little kid. I went to this stall and I bought a bunch of flowers. Someone did a coin under the watch to me. For the life of me, I have no idea who it was. But this guy did coin under the watch, and I was just like, I need to be him. Anyway, so but I think I was saying to someone up at Blackpool this year, actually, they were kind of asking me, they never thought that I'd end up where I am doing what I'm doing prank videos and magic videos and just all sorts of just fun. I think it's all kind of led, everything in my life has kind of led to where it is now. Like, for instance, that stall in Covent Garden that we had, we sold magic tricks, mainly sort of dynamic coins and sponge balls and Svengali cards and all that. But we had some cool stuff as well that we used to sell sort of under the table to magicians, which was quite cool. But also we had a lot of prank stuff there, and I guess it all kind of has molded together. Luke knows this, guys. When I said to him before we got on, I said, I have no plans. I don't know what. I want to be able to say some things that will help you guys with social media. I've got lots of tips for you, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. So, Luke, this is in front of everyone, full permission. When I'm rambling off about something, just tell me to shut up and get on with it.
Well then,
you're the moderator. I've got to shut this door. Hang on. But yeah, that's what I do. I would say I am genuinely a professional idiot. I actually am.
Wait, say that again.
I said I'm genuinely a professional idiot.
Professional idiot.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And I love it.
Well, I got to say, you're really good at it. So enough said.
I'm not sure whether that's a compliment. You're really good at being an idiot.
Uh, Somebody actually had a nice comment for you. They said, Matthew David Sheely says, love your IG feed. Your energy is so contagious and your posts always make me laugh. And I think that's a common trend with you. You're just,
Thank you.
just out there having fun. You know, you're out there just having fun and making people laugh.
That's it. I mean, it is really important. And I've found this more that, oh, hang on. Something's happened.
Sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah, I found it more and more. It is really important to love what you're doing. I think I've kind of had that throughout my life. I've been really lucky. You know, I loved it when I was acting. I loved it when I was being a magician, and I love what I'm doing now. I think this is okay. So when I'm 41, right? When I was a kid, when I was 18, you know, I always wanted to make movies, you know, and I didn't quite know how. I wanted to make stuff that goes on a screen, you know, and obviously back then we didn't have this kind of screen. We didn't have phone screens. We didn't. The people that are 18 now or younger now, you guys are so lucky to have the ability to make a movie with this.
Yeah.
I just tried really hard not to look at my notifications then. I'm so addicted. But you are you're so lucky to have this, because I quite often have to not kick myself, but I'm like I find myself wishing that I had that back then, and just thinking, oh wow, if I had that then and knew what I knew now, sure. God, where would I be now? You know. But as my wife keeps telling me, you know, that's the most pointless, self-pitying, stupid thing to think about anyways.
We got a great question coming in actually from Corey.
Let's do it.
This is actually a really good one to kick things off. And then we'll give you guys a little more info on Neil as well as we go along. But his question is, from trial and error, what was the tipping point that made a difference in viewers for your videos? Because you've been doing this for a while, and things don't just happen, obviously, at once. It takes time to gain momentum, and then I guess you kind of break through. But what was the tipping point for you when it came to kind of like doing that to get over that hump?
That's an excellent question, and I'm thinking it almost answers itself, because from trial and error. Yeah. I mean, but you know, hang on. So what was the thing that I realized? I think it's when I realized that it doesn't, that when I realized that with social media and these platforms like here and like Instagram, you've got the chance to reach an audience that television companies dream of having, right? They dream of getting the kind of numbers that are possible on these social media. And when I realized that, I suddenly realized this is my TV channel. This is my TV program. And at that point, I realized, oh, I can do what I've always wanted to do right here. And I remember the video. It was one that I shot in Miami, where I did a floating coin trick. Okay. I actually reposted it recently. Did a floating coin trick, and it did surprisingly well out of the blue. And I remember analyzing it and seeing all these things, because I remember that particular trick, that particular video just felt very me, you know. I was being, you know, I wasn't pretending to be a big strong guy, because there was a massive big strong guy there, so I could be the nerd that I am, you know, unashamedly. And because of that, I kind of found myself just being myself and not really caring what I look like, or stuff like that. And other things that I noticed was actually scroll down, because I reposted it recently. Go a bit more, and you'll see the thumb there. That one, stop. See that big muscly guy, yep. Right? that is the video that I posted it ages ago, but I reposted it. That is the moment that I realized the importance of a thumbnail, right? And why, why a thumbnail is really important. Yeah. And also the other thing that, in there is I discovered, sort of discovered that, I said at the end, magic or muscle, who wins, and I kind of realized it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins. All that matters is I'm starting a conversation. It's becoming social media, and because of that conversation that ensued afterwards, some people saying muscle because magic is fake, or magic because muscle will only last until you're 50. It doesn't matter what they're talking about, but they're talking. And if they're talking, they're engaging. And if they're engaging, they're important to the platforms like Instagram, like Facebook. They're important to them because they're not just eyeballs looking at a screen. They're eyeballs that are being interactive with the screen. And that's valuable to these apps like Instagram, because when they have eyeballs that are, fully engaged at their stuff, they can sell shit to them.
Yep. And that is one thing that you've been doing a lot of, is the brand endorsements. I see that you're an ambassador to Bang Energy. That's on your page.
Yep.
The brand endorsements, people often wonder, how do you make money with this stuff? And we'll get a little deeper into some of the ways to monetize this stuff. I know that there's a few different ways to do it, but this was a good question from Rohan. And I think Rohan was actually at our talk on social media at Blackpool. He wants to know, what was your first viral video and what was your approach to posting videos afterwards?
Wow. So, Rohan, you couldn't have asked that question at a better time, because there's a lady behind me. Come here. This is my wife, Charlie, everyone.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
This is Charlie. So the first viral video, which was a completely I was unprepared for it. I had no idea that it was. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I proposed to her on stage, and my agent recorded it and put it on YouTube. I proposed to her by eating alphabet spaghetti, and then I regurgitated the letters "marry me."
Vomited comes to mind.
Vomited. The real magic is that she said yes. And yeah, I guess that was the first sort of viral. I did do one a long time ago. I was employed by a company to make a video. Actually, it was to consult for a video. It was for a Samsung advert. You may have seen this. It's on YouTube now. It's wicked. I'm really proud of this. So they got me to make a video. It was the very first a phone that has an HD screen on it, right? So they wanted a magic trick that you couldn't work out, but if you were watching it in HD, you kind of could. So it kind of made the people that had HD phones feel a little bit superior, and that was the whole point of the advertising campaign. And I made a phone disappear. That was yeah. If you want to watch that, you type into YouTube Samsung Omnia camera phone trick, and then we revealed it afterwards what we did. But so they got me into consult for that, and then it got closer to the time, and they said, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yes, please." It's really good. If you like cool stuff, I'm really proud of that one. But I guess that was one of the first ones I did, and then from then, since I've been kind of taking it more serious, the thing that really kicked off. I mean, especially the proposal, that wasn't meant to be a viral. That was meant to be a nice little moment for us, but it ended up paying for the wedding, which was great. But the one that kicked off all my career really now was one that's been seen over 1 billion times, and it's a snake prank where I have I make this snake appear, and people end up throwing ice cream in their faces and things. And yeah, I mean, that's just a really good example of making a video that makes me laugh. It's really important. I mean, we'll get on to proper advice for you guys, I guess, in a minute, but I think the most important thing, and I wanted to say this at your talk as well, but I was too tired. I didn't think of it. The most important thing for you to do, I'm talking to you watching, is to make a feed. In order to turn it into something successful, is to make a feed that you would enjoy. Right? People say, why aren't people following me? Why aren't people? Well, take a proper look at your account. Right? Would you follow you? I've got a lot. I've got most of my close friends are in the magic community. I love the magic community, and I have had this question from a lot of people, and it's kind of hard to say to someone, yeah, but the only reason I'm following you is because I love you as a mate. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm like, if you want to build an audience and then make magic videos for that audience, and you want your audience to be online, I would suggest, first of all, make your channel something that you would be an audience for. Awesome. And what you'll notice, and the bigger you get, and the bigger I get, I've noticed, and this is another problem that I've got, is that I have got my page, I'm doing magic, I'm doing funny magic, I do just serious magic, I do pranks, I mess around, I annoy that lovely lady behind me. I do so much different things that I'm going to piss people off, because I know that I made this beautiful video in Africa doing lovely tricks, good magic, I think, to orphanages in Africa, and this great one in Jamaica, and all these great videos I'm very proud of them. They're very magic and they're a little bit funny, and then I'll do something where I pop a balloon and make my wife jump, and the people that may have come to my channel expecting more of that, lovely magic, suddenly greeted with this insane stuff. But at the end of the day, that's kind of their problem. I put the stuff on my page that I like, yep. And it's really important to do, and it's sometimes quite difficult to do that, because it is difficult. It is difficult to stay removed and to be true to yourself, and to do when you see that you are being judged. When I did Britain's Got Talent, right? I've done massive theatres. I am blowing my own trumpet. When I've done massive theatres as an act around the world, and I don't get nervous. I get excited stuff on a stage. When I did Britain's Got Talent, I got properly nervous, not because of the audience or the millions of people that I knew that would be there watching, but because those people who have done Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent who are watching this will know what I mean. You've got the four of them there, including Simon Cowell, sat, not in the audience, they're on the stage, and they're more brightly lit than you are as well. So, there's one great thing about playing a big audience is you can't see the audience, so you can kind of just imagine that they're friends. I know I have a lot of actor friends that like to imagine everyone in the audience is naked, to get rid of. You can't imagine anything. The four of them are there, right there. You know who they are. They're really close and they're well lit. And and that's I've done that thing where I'm now talking about something that I can't remember what I was talking about. But
you're good.
Get me back on track, Luke. What am I talking about?
It was
doing stuff. Yeah. It's very difficult because it's about the judge thing. So it's very difficult to, when I'm doing my own shows without those four people staring at me, I'm not thinking about people judging me. I'm enjoying the show and the performance that I want to do. I'm having fun. I'm swallowing spaghetti. I'm doing whatever I want to do, but I'm having fun with it. When you are being constantly reminded that you're being judged, it is hard not to let that affect your work. And that's the same with social media as well. It's very, very important, as for the reason that I said, it's very important to encourage your audience to chat and to give feedback. It's also extremely important to reply to that and to engage with that for two big reasons. The first reason is you want to engage with the audience and you want to make them feel good for engaging on your stuff. And especially if you answer their question with a question, then they're probably going to write something else afterwards, and then you can start getting to know them, and you're also encouraging this engagement, which is going to help your content grow on whatever platform. And that goes for any platform it is, whatever it is. And I said there was 2 reasons. I think I said both of those reasons in that answer, but that's it. But yeah. So that's. I'm really sorry, everyone.
You're great. That's why I wanted you here. You're awesome, dude.
The point is, right? The point is, it's really important to interact with. So if you're interacting with these audience, you're reading what they're saying,
yep.
Right? And as I've got bigger and bigger, you're gonna get haters, right? I'm sure you guys have seen haters saying stuff online. I'll tell you something, right? When I did that snake prank, right, it went viral overnight. In fact, within a couple of hours. By the next day, it had been seen by like over 50 million people, and it was climbing rapidly.
Nuts, dude.
We were about to have. Did you say something?
So that's nuts. That's nuts.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, nuts. So we were at the thing called NCT, which is like a prenatal program. We were just about to have our baby, right? He was like due in a month, and we were at this thing, at this class, and I felt my phone going crazy in my pocket. And I said to Charlie, I said, babe, I'm just going to nip out and just have a look what's happening in my pocket. Well, oh my God, I was reading these comments saying, oh, this guy is sociopath, going and scaring people with this. And I was so anxious, and I would say I'm a pretty chilled guy, but suddenly I was shaking. I said to my wife, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to deal with this. I never dealt with this. It had over 1 million comments overnight. And there was me reading the comments, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't reply to anyone because I didn't want to show my face. I wanted to hide. And then I realized that actually this is a great thing. And now that is gold. If you can get that kind of stuff, that is gold, and that's really going to help your channel. I mean, obviously, it's always to have the good stuff, and you can get the nice comments and stuff like that. But I think whatever it is, whether it's Gary V said something that I find very valuable, just like you just don't hear them. Just don't hear the good, don't hear the bad, because the good's probably bullshit and the bad doesn't matter, right? But do listen to it. Sure. Do listen to people and do react to them because it's important. Yeah. But just don't let it go in, because it will. Here we go, and here's the full stop. Because it will affect your work in the same way that those nerds did for me on Britain's Got Talent. There.
Did you going viral? Did that change your thought process of the way that you did videos? I think that was part of the question that popped up earlier too. Once you did get that first viral video, did your mentality change on the way that you should, or that you were thinking of posting videos? Did it make you go, I was going to do this, but now I'm going to do this? Like, did that change anything for you?
Well, certainly. Yeah. Without question. It didn't stop me posting or making this kind of stuff that I was going to do. Yeah. But what it did do is I began to learn kind of things, not the kind of things that go viral, but the kind of things that stop things going viral. And I'll give you an example. And this is something, I don't know whether anyone listening will actually properly hear this. But this is a really important thing that I think all magicians that want to build their online audience need to think about. And it's something that I've learned from experience. The medium is so different to your close-up or your stage stuff. When we're on stage, we build that rapport with them. We build the rapport. We make it very clear that the deck of cards is a nicely shuffled pack. Maybe we don't say that, but we'll gesture with the pack and show that maybe they give a little shuffle over there, and then you'll hand the cards, maybe pick out a card, all of that. Just if you saw that online on video, that will kill the video. And I'll tell you why, because who cares? Who cares? Yeah, we care. We care, this tiny little fraction, because we love card tricks, and I love watching people do card tricks. But the vast majority of people in the world who see a pack of cards being proffered towards someone the first thing they'll go, oh, I've seen that one. Sure. Or secondly, who cares? Unless you're doing it in a hilarious way. Maybe you're on a bungee jump, jumping off. This is a great idea for a video. So on a bungee jump, falling down with a pack of cards, and there's a guy at the bottom and they say, pick a card. Oh my God, that's a cracking idea. But something really exciting. Who's going to sit through that? They're not going to sit through that. So one thing that I did learn is I learned to trim and get straight to the point and just cut out any rubbish, end cards. Who wants an end card? Who's going to sit through an end card? And if they don't sit through an end card, the video is going to die, because if you haven't watched a video the whole way through, this is an important thing on all platforms. If a video is not watched the whole way through by a good chunk of the people that are watching, the app, say Instagram, is going to say it's unimportant. Instagram wants to, it favors, and Facebook and all of them, they all favor content that people want to watch. Is it worth me explaining why, or does everyone know that?
No, I think we're good on that. Yeah, I think we're good on that. Yeah. This is something that I'm curious about that goes kind of into this world of creating the content. And I've seen this pop up a couple of times, so I want to make sure we get to this. Luca was asking about, have you had to, and in the past, to build up to what you have now, do you have any advice when it comes to spending money, maybe on boosting posts or getting your stuff out there in front of people? Or is that a bad idea when it comes to getting your content out there?
Well, I've never boosted a post.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any advice on boosting posts. Yeah. Shout outs. So with shout outs, there's something that I've done with friends and people that have become friends, is the more I've grown and the bigger I've got and the more traffic that comes to my page, you obviously get other pages that are of a similar size that want to share in that traffic. And then, you want to share in theirs, because obviously they're going to have a different. So what you'll do is, maybe one page will say to me, I'll post a little shout out for you on my story if you do it for me. And that's, I've got to be honest, it doesn't really work that well anymore. I think I've got a theory about this, actually. I think it's because people are now so used to stories. I'm just reading this comment on here. That's really interesting. As Paul Daniels said, you got to think about who and where you are performing. Being in theatre, you want to create friends. On TV, you got to think. Yes, Mark Wybrow. Yes, couldn't agree more. And now I've lost my thread. I wouldn't.
Oops.
Well, whatever it was, imagine it was good.
It is something.
Yeah. Putting things on stories.
Yeah.
So I think the reason it doesn't work anymore is because people are very used to using stories, and they just sit on the stories and they don't want to go anywhere. I think in the old days, people used to, when stories was quite new, they would take these recommendations and go and check out their main page. But I think a lot of people are actually using stories to live on, and a lot of people are actually just staying on the stories. So maybe that's one reason. But yeah, that's certainly a way. If you want to do that kind of thing, find people that are of a similar size as you, and a similar size, and also have a similar kind of audience. You don't want to be putting your shout out video on a beautiful calligraphy page if you're a heavy metal magician, because it's not going to benefit you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Also, just so everyone knows, is just joining us here, we are chatting with the one and only Mr. Neil Henry. Neil is a magician, prankster, and has a knack for going viral on social media platforms. So if you guys have questions about that kind of stuff, let us know. This is one that came in from Corey, and I know Corey is someone that's worked not only in this space. He's good friends with you guys, and he's done a lot of stuff with Julia Steen too. But when it comes to the process of editing your clips, do you have any advice on, let's just kind of group it all together, shooting and editing your clips to make them fit the format for social media? Do you have any tips on, yes, you have the content, but is there a certain way or a certain style that you think people should look at it as far as what's acceptable or what's something people expect now from this type of content?
Yes, man, I could write an essay on this. Let's see if I can keep this as sweet as possible.
I'll give you a couple minutes. All right, go for it.
yeah, do. And then and then stop me. All right. Here we go. Yeah, it's really, really important. First things first, I would at the moment shoot in portrait because it fills a whole screen. This is actually something that Julia Steen discovered. It's genius, because when you've got something that's filling a whole screen, it's going to take longer to swipe off it if you're scrolling through, which means you've got this thing on. You've got more time to be able to get their attention. I would also, like I said, trim the fat from videos. I would say lighting's very important. I would say because you want it to ping out of them. I'm sure you've seen videos online and you haven't really watched them because they're dark. And you want to be presented with bing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be presented with the best quality video and lit and as possible. Also, I know that, other things like TikTok, they actually favor videos that are brighter. The platform does. So that's very important. The other reason why you do it in full screen is because on Instagram, you have a choice. You can either do it in square or in full screen. You can do it in horizontal as well, but that takes up very little screen space. And so it's very easy for people to swipe off it. Also, that means you can then cross-post it onto Facebook, which is perfect for that. The only difference is on YouTube. But YouTube is now, compatible with. You can do what's it called, portrait on YouTube. Landscape on YouTube tends to be mainly just for vlogs stuff. It's very difficult. Actually, it's a big problem working out which way to do it. TikTok. By the way, if you're a magician and you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. It's great and it's so perfect for magic. Little bite-sized pieces of visual wonder. It's great. Get on that. Other tips for editing: just make things snappy. Caption. I would always subtitle, because the vast majority of people watch these things with the sound off. Most of them are on a bus, or they're they're in school, or this was a thing I did with Keith Barry. What a nice guy. I met up with him recently, met him for the first time, and we made a whole bunch of videos. He was cool. That's that. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this for ages, but yes, it is important to just make it as snappy and as pacey as possible. And as interesting as possible. I try and make every single second of a video watchable. If I'm watching something back after I've finished editing it, and at any moment I get bored, then if I can, I'll cut it out. If I'm showing stuff to my wife, and halfway through she's watching it and she gets distracted by something, then I'll think to myself, now, what was that distracted her? Was that something important? Because if it wasn't, then that's my video being crap, So it is important.
This is great stuff, guys. We'll take a few more questions and I'll let Neil get out of here. But what about when it comes to within the magic world? I know we're talking about the mainstream, the way that people want to see videos. Nigel would like to know, within our industry, do the creators approach you to help promote their products, such as our friends at Toomey Magic? I know Eric. I know that he had some new stuff at the convention to show too. But
oh my god, that new thing with the dollar bill to the Mentos.
Yeah, then that looks great, doesn't it? Yeah, Candy Cash, I
Dude,
think. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, super cool.
yeah, I was practicing that today. Actually, I really like it. Do they? Yeah, yeah, they do. I get a lot of people
Sure.
doing that. I don't know whether it's appropriate to say here, but if I put out a video, they tend, not every time, but they tend to do quite well.
Yeah.
And if I can get a few million eyeballs on a trick for somebody, then that could be. I tell you, here's one that won't mind me mentioning. I don't think. I hope I'm not overstepping my market. I'm going to be careful here, but Jordan O'Grady, who is fantastic, and if you guys haven't already got his lung tester, get it because it's hilarious, and I won't give away exactly what it is, but check it out. We're going to be working together on something coming up soon, so you'll see that. Yeah.
What about I know we're kind of dipping into this now. We started with the magic stuff, but let's go deeper. When it comes to the brand deals, that's someone that a lot of people look at and go, wow, I wish I could do that. Could you maybe shed a little light into the world of brand deals, the endorsements, the way that people can make money? I know we mentioned we give them a couple tips. We'll start with that one and maybe give 2 other ways people could try to monetize this stuff. But when it comes to brand deals in particular, what kind of advice could you shed on people that are looking to do that? Like, do they come to you? Are you trying to reach out to them? That was another question that came in about that. But brand deals, yeah.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell, both.
Yep.
My agent is very good at brand deals and reaching out to companies. And what I'll do, I've worked extensively as a magic consultant for other magicians and also for the Royal Shakespeare Company, so a theatre company in England. So I've done a lot of theatre. So I've done a lot of creating things for a particular project. Mm-hmm. So and it's actually quite exciting to do it for myself. So what I'll do is I'll approach a company, or my agent will do, and then they'll come back to me and he'll say, look, this company's got this idea or they want to work with you. And then I'll say, okay, check this for an idea. And I'll come up with an idea like I may have done for, maybe another magician or for myself or for the theatre company. And I'll do that for myself. I'll say, look, I can do this. Maybe it's a coffee company or, maybe it's a hat company. And I'll think of a trick that you can do utilizing a hat, or maybe it's a funny video with a hat. And basically, I would demonstrate a way to make their brand more visible and get a lot of views and eyeballs on their brand whilst sticking with my brand and making a video that I'm not, that I'm happy with and I like. And I think that's one way of doing it. But the other way is, a lot of them do come from the brands getting in touch with me and saying, look, I think daily I'll get messages from people that want to work together in some way, and quite a lot of them I won't do. Like there was one company I just said no to. It was, I won't mention the company because I don't want to give them publicity, but it was a betting company, not an English betting company. It was a betting company. And I have nothing wrong with betting. I love a little flutter. Why not? But I looked at them online and they were offering money as well. I looked at online and they had been done for, they'd been fined in the past for cockfighting and getting dogs fighting together. And I'm a big animal lover, and I can't do it. So I said no to them. So it doesn't always work out, and I won't do any old crap. But
so let me ask you this, man. Like let's get really raw for a second.
Let's do it.
There's a variety of people that watch these to get advice and help, and I know that there's always going to be people that are new to everything. However, if someone is younger and looking at all of this and wanting to put all of their eggs in a basket, that they think that this is the way that they can make a living, what kind of realistic advice will you give somebody? Like, because there's a lot of kids that look at this stuff these days and they go, oh, they're like, the family, friends, whatever. Like, oh yeah, what are you planning on doing with your life? Oh, I want to be an influencer. And I see that more and more. Now, look, Neil, I'm not hating on this shit. I'm not hating on it at all. But from someone that lives and breathes this stuff and also makes money from it, what is the reality of that? Is that something that you would tell someone to go for? Or do you think it's something that you should kind of tread lightly to see if you can do it? Like, let's just be honest about this stuff too, because it's very sexy. Very, very sexy. Everyone thinks they can make money doing this shit. All right.
You say looking at a sweaty bald man. Okay. Let me see if I can give the most real advice.
Sure.
Okay, so my advice is going to come from my experience.
Yep.
All right. Personally, because it's the way that I came, I would recommend nailing the live stuff, because then you know what a real a real audience is there. When you're doing stuff online, you don't see the audience.
Yep.
And that's something that I'm really glad I've had 20 years of experience of,
Now, just to clarify, when you say live stuff, because we're doing this live, you don't mean live online. You mean actually live out there as a performer out there in front of audiences.
Making magic happen in their hands,
Yes.
If anyone's seen Garrett Thomas live,
Yep.
If you've seen him at Blackpool, he could do anything. And you feel like magic has just happened right in front of you. And I walk away from Garrett Thomas. I don't know whether he's watching or not, but I walk away from you, Garrett, if you're watching, like I've just met Gandalf, and and that's why I love magic, this thing. And he does it. And I would never, ever say that I'm anywhere near like that, but I have experienced splashes of that working as a magician, as I'm sure all of us have. And I think it's important to know at least what that is, whether or not it's something that you do, just understand it. And then now let's really try and understand this question. Would I suggest it as a career? I mean, it's certainly worked out for me. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of luck involved. There's I'll tell you what, it's not easy. There is a lot of work that goes into it.
Sure.
A lot of work, It's something that I am constantly struggling in my life. I've got a 2-year-old kid and I've got an amazing wife, and I I want to spend as much time as I can with them. I've also got loads of friends that I want to see everywhere. But then, and also, I don't want to spend my whole life in my phone. That's why I'm deliberately not looking at my notifications, because I don't want to get in there now, because I'm enjoying this, But I would say you need to be prepared to do a lot of work and to study. Can I give a more direct piece of advice as opposed to I don't really know how to answer that.
Well, no, I think you said something that was very important though right there before. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that it looks fun and it looks appealing, but it's not easy. And I'm glad that you pointed that part out. And feel free to continue on. But
look, it is fun and it is appealing.
Yeah.
And I do love every moment of it.
Sure.
But it's not easy.
Right.
And it's a lot of work.
It's the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did think of a really good piece of advice, and I've forgotten it. It will come back.
I cut you. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I just think it's important for people to realize that with a lot of social media, not just people's lifestyles, but the way that things look online, that's not always the reality of it. And people seeing you having fun with these videos. I mean, one of the first things we talked about on the panel at Blackpool was the grind. That there's days when you don't want to make a video, but you have to make a video if you want to keep the consistency there.
Yeah.
And that's definitely part of it. And speaking of that, would you say that consistency is one of the magic words when it comes to this stuff, and building up your brand is consistently doing it?
Yeah. Humongous.
Yeah.
And not just in this, in every single thing in your life. Consistency is key in everything, right? And that goes from whether you want to get fit, whether you want to build a relationship with someone you love. It's not about just, giving your wife a massage quickly on one day. You consistently have to work at a relationship. You have to work at being a father. You got to work at at the piano. Rehearse if you want to rehearse moves or your cardistry moves. It's not something that you pick up in a day. If you want to build on a platform like Instagram or Facebook, you consistently have to work at it. You have to not. I'm not just talking about working on your work. I mean, like consistently posting. John T said something very interesting at your lecture the other day, the talk thing. It's not just consistency about posting at a similar time every single week or every other day or however consistently you want to do it, but also consistently in your style. This is maybe something that I need to work on because I'm changing my style all the time, but you consistently and consistent length and maybe a consistent feel of the video. If you go through my Instagram and you go back like 2 years ago when I was just posting cat pictures and funny pictures of writing or whatever, I don't know, you can see how my thing has changed and it's kind of developed into what it is now. And yeah, I think. Yeah, and you can see how I've kind of stayed consistent in a certain thing, and then I've kind of built onto a different thing. I think it's really important. Okay, so look. So this is, if you go back. This is when I was kind of just getting into it. And then I was just doing stuff. That was when I went with Julius to Ibiza. He's taught me so much, man. He's an absolute flipping genius when it comes to this stuff. That's that snake video. Keep going up. That's when my baby was born. Yeah. See, I mean, at the end of the day, who's going to follow this? Who's going to follow that? Nah, no one really, right? Maybe here, maybe that's a bit more exciting, little bit more. And then we all know.
Hello.
Yeah, great trick, Patrick. And then I began to get it. That's, by the way, a real triceratops brain. And then as you scroll up, keep going up, and then I suddenly realized the importance of the thumbnails, right? And then, oh look, that's a video that Murphy's posted of mine. Yeah. Thank you, mate. That was the first contact we ever had. All right, and then keep scrolling up, and now I'm getting it. This is when I'm posting more magic videos. That's when I first posted. That's probably the first big viral. And at this point here, I was posting consistently twice a week on the same time, 5 p.m., which is, when I wanted to or when I could, at 5 p.m. twice a week, once on Tuesday, once on Friday, and I was doing it every single time, right? And then I decided to bring in a bit more pranks and using these sort of arrows so it pings out on a explore page and, and using words to make this interesting. That's my favorite video I've ever made, that one with the huge fish. Anyway. Oh, we're going in. I adore this. I just got a new one of those at Blackpool actually because I left it on a train. Somewhere there's an appearing fish on a train. Anyway, blah blah blah. So you can
definitely see the evolution from the original videos forward. Even the thumbnails in particular definitely jump out. To go along with this, there was a question that I think is great with this. Luca says, Neil, do you have a tip for transfer audience from magicians to normal people? So let's stop there. It looks like that was kind of like your thing at the beginning, was you were just posting like magic tricks, and then you realized you wanted to branch out. Because a lot of the people that are watching this are magicians, and they're posting content of them doing tricks, whether it's to the camera or maybe to other people. But it's a very magician-centric thing. So for people that are wanting to go from just magician content to a more mainstream content, what tip would you have for that? That's the first part of his question, because he says he can't really go much further. There's like a ceiling for magicians. Then there is like a ceiling out there. You can only go so far with, promoting.
I'm not sure I massively agree with that. Yeah. I don't think there's a ceiling. I think you look at people like Kevin Parry and Tom Elderfield and these amazing minds out there. You think you've done enough, and you realize that Tom Elderfield suddenly discovered a whole new massive thing that you never even thought about. I don't think there's a ceiling, but actually that's not a bad question, Luca, because and lovely to meet you in Blackpool this year, mate. Nice one. the reason why I branched out onto pranks and other sort of funny videos is because I decided to, and also the reason why I really understand how these things work is I've had great advice from people that have cracked it before anyone else did, like Julius. I mean, he's a king and he really knows his stuff, and he kind of worked it all out before anyone did. But the main reason I think why I've realized this stuff is because, and you should do this if you want to, is go on these platforms and be an audience and go through and really pay very close attention to how you're acting and how you're behaving on there, and make note of it. And what I mean by that is look at what you like. Why did you like that? And why did you just follow that person? And what I discovered, one thing that I discovered is that I really enjoy pages that are very eclectic, and pages that are filled full of magic and pranks and just fun, and just pages that just bring joy in whatever way. And that's when I suddenly realized, this isn't a close-up gig, this is my channel. And I can do whatever I want. And if I do it in a way that makes these videos exciting, and I also pay attention to what I watch and like and what I engage on, and I'll try and implement those things in my videos, then my videos will do well, and they will grow, and so will my page, and that will happen because I'm paying attention to how I'm acting on the platform. I'm going to stop there. Am I making sense?
Oh yeah, trust me, we're all listening. We're all taking notes. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's probably if I could give one piece of advice is to do that, is to just like shut yourself in a room for an hour, and maybe a day, maybe an hour a day, and use it as a kind of meditation, and just go onto Instagram or whatever platform you want to crack, and study it, and study the way that you use it, and just look at it. It's fascinating. I've learned more than I've learned in anything by watching how I use that platform, and that is why my pages are like they are.
Well,
simple.
Well said. I mean, that pretty much tells the story right there. I mean, yeah. Quick question: thoughts on using Twitch for a magic platform? I think you mentioned this at the talk we did. That's like an unexplored area, but yeah, what are your thoughts on using Twitch as a magic platform? It comes from Nigel.
I don't know, Nigel. I've never used it.
Okay, very good. Also,
I guess it's a gaming thing. Yeah. If I were you, when you want to jump on something, jump on TikTok.
That's the one. Yeah, there were a couple of questions about TikTok as well. Okay.
And jump on it today, tonight.
Very cool.
Trust me.
A nice thing here from Matthew. He's saying that you can tell just how genuine you are. He says that when you say you're going to follow someone, he does it, and you even take the time to comment on his own content. So it's true that you're not just out there pushing it as a one-way street. You're actually out there involved, and I think that definitely is noted by not just him, but a lot of people. So that's cool.
What you'll realize is thanks, Matthew. That's really nice. Yeah. What you'll realize is it doesn't become a job doing that. When you see people that constantly, yes, Ben, I love him. When you see people that are constantly engaging and interacting with your content, and you see them popping up time and time again, it becomes a bit of a family. It becomes like a kind of gang. They kind of are following this journey with you, and you're not, because I mean it is quite a solitary thing, isn't it? It's sitting there in front of a computer. Yeah, okay, you got millions of people watching you, but at the end of the day, who the hell are they? But when you start seeing these people coming up again, it's almost like, I'm sure people that have been stage magicians, you see the first couple of rows, and you kind of play off that, and you always have the guy at the front that maybe you're taking the piss out of, or the guy at the front that's always taking the piss out of you, which tend to be the way that I used to do it. Whilst you are trying to give everyone, Nick, love you, whilst you're trying to play to everyone and you want to make everyone feel included, there is, there's a couple of people at the front maybe that you'll address more. And actually by giving that personality and giving that love back and forth to the people at the front, you can kind of make that translate to the back of the room as well. So if I'm giving this person love in maybe a conversation in a comment section on a thing, then that will translate, and I'll see it. Dude, it happened today. Actually, this guy started off hating, and I normally just ignore people that do that. But for some reason, I decided to. It wasn't anything he said. Something came into my head, and I would never normally do this. Something came into my head. I went, let's just kill this kid with kindness, right? So I just went all out, giving him nice words and everything. And then all of a sudden, he changed, and I saw loads of other people jumping in on the conversation and commenting and liking that conversation. And I suddenly realized, wow, when you do, have a conversation with other people, because it is a public forum and loads of people are watching, you're going to affect other people. So, yeah, I don't know what we're answering now, but I'm quite interested.
I mean, to me, it seems like a very basic thing, Neil. Let's be honest. Like social media, the whole point of it is to be social. And the fact that you're actually being social to people is like, I wouldn't say it's a surprising thing, but it's like, it's something that's noticed when that's the whole point of this stuff to begin with. But so many people miss that,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have time for one more question? I know
Dude, man, I'm enjoying myself. I'll tell you something. I'm leaving. Julius has got his show in New York, and I'm leaving at 4 a.m. If anyone's watching in New York and you want to go and see a show, go and check out his Instagram. It's a wicked show. Anyway, I've worked on it with him. I'm going out with him in the morning. I've got all I've got to do is pack. I'm having a good time. If you want to keep talking, I can keep talking.
Oh, we appreciate it, man.
Everyone's bored. I don't know.
No, this is the fact that there's so many questions. We have a guy who says something, so we all appreciate
fire away, mate. If I have to go, I'll say.
This is one from Corey, but I think that a lot of people want to know about this. I'm going to bring it in for him. How important are hashtags on Instagram and TikTok, and how do you find the best one? So let's talk about hashtags for a minute, because that is the language of social media, or maybe was it the language of social media?
How important is hashtags?
Yeah.
They're not really. I wouldn't say massively. I think much more important is the content itself.
Yep.
The content. It's about the content. And these things like Facebook and Instagram, they can categorize the video. You have no idea how amazing this platform is that we're on right now. They are alien in how advanced they are, right? They know exactly what a video is. You don't even have to put a caption in it. Trust me, if you do something in a video and hint at the fact that you want to buy a digital photo frame, you'll be advertised one. Oh, yeah. And why I'm saying this is because people use hashtags to categorize a video. You also can, people can get traffic from a hashtag, but I mean, who searches in hashtags? And also, if you do put a hashtag, when you're searching it, you want to search for things that people would search for. If I go, one thing that I've noticed that I look at, I love to laugh and see, and I love surprises, right? So I will search something like funny video or twist in the tail. I love little twists and thing, or something. I'll search something. That's what I'll actually search. So that's actually probably quite a good hashtag. If you use something like hashtag love, who is going to go on to Instagram and type in hashtag love? Apart from anything else, it's the biggest hashtag in the world. I can't remember how many billions of posts are on there. You will never, ever, even if you are the most popular post on Instagram, you will never rank in hashtag love, because there are hundreds of thousands of posts being sent to that hashtag every single minute. Right. If you get the #1 spot there, you'll be there for a second. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. But having said that, every time I post, I will think carefully and hard, maybe for 5 10 minutes about what hashtags I'm going to do, I'll still do it. Yeah, it is important. And yeah, but what I'm doing is I'm looking for ones that I think people will search in, because I have searched in.
We had a question in from TikTok as well. And speaking of that, our friend Leon, he's watching over in the Magic Session Facebook group. He says, I started TikTok yesterday because of you, Neil. He says that his kids think he's a freak. He loves it. He's going to have a lot of fun with it. Speaking of which, Corey also wanted to know, without any followers, how do videos get seen? He says he's new to TikTok. So let's take a look at that. Someone's new to this stuff and they want to be seen. How do they get seen out there in the busy world, the very clouded and busy world of social media? Everyone's posting and wants to be noticed. I mean, that's just the thing, So.
Okay. So the first thing is make your account on whatever thing is, make it a public account. That's the biggest mistake that a lot of people do. If you've got a private account, only people that follow you can see your stuff. If you have a public account, what happens is you'll post something. Let's just say it's Instagram. This is exactly the same with everything, right? Within reason, sort of the same. Instagram will see how your audience, it will serve that video to your audience. If your audience likes it and comments and engage on it or watches it at the very least, Instagram will then go, oh, let's show it to a few more of his people that doesn't normally look at his stuff. So it will show it to them, and if they like it and they watch it and are interested in it, Instagram will go, oh, this must be one of his good ones. So I'll tell you what, let's see, is he public? Yeah, he's public. Right, let's show this video to a few people that don't follow him, but do normally like his kind of stuff, to see whether it has a more mass appeal. So it'll show it on something called the Explore page, or if it was Facebook, that's the Watch page, or if it was TikTok, that's the For You page. So it'll show it on the Explore page and to these people and if they like it and they look at it and they're interested in it, Instagram will go, hang on a sec, let's just, he won't mind because he's a public page. So why don't we just take his video? Because let's bear in mind, me being Instagram, I want people to stay on my platform. So in order to do that, I need to have good content on my platform. And if I can see something that is, so far, all the indications are this is good content, or at least it's content that is interesting to people and keeping eyeballs on me on Instagram, then I will serve it to more people in the hope that it will help people stay on the platform. So then it will show it to more people that don't normally like, say, magic. And if those guys like it, you'll see it's one of the most exciting things when things hit the Explore page and then it gets to the point where Instagram just goes, oh, do you know what? This is good stuff. Do you know what? I'm just going to show it to everyone. You'll see. It's so exciting. Suddenly, a video just goes stratospheric. But the most important thing there is to have good content. Because if you don't have good content, it's very difficult to get into that place. When it does get into that place, then loads of people see your stuff. And then if you have a page that's exciting that like we were talking about earlier, then that's going to drive traffic of people that like your kind of shit, and it's going to bring it to your page, and they're going to see your page. And if they like that kind of stuff, then they're going to join you on your journey, and then it just snowballs along like this. Then you've got more people in that pool to be able to impress in that first little 5-10 minutes or half an hour of posting a video, which will help it then do that whole journey again. And I'm going to stop there, but there's so much more to it, but that's essentially how it works. And it works like that on every single platform. The most important thing is that people watch your video. Yeah. If people don't watch it all,
it's tough, isn't it? I mean, let's not beat around the bush. So it is tough because the one thing with social media is everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to be seen. It's like that's what it's there for. Everyone wants that.
Luke, yes, yeah, you're right. But Luke, it's really important for everyone to realize, one, there's enough audience out there for all of us.
Well said.
And I've fallen into the trap of comparing myself. Of course I have, but I try not to. And I think it's extremely. I don't know whether that's I think it's really important to not treat each other as a competition. This is not a competition. We are all in this together. you know, I see so many fights in these magic groups. You know, there's so many fights. I never get involved. Do you know what? I do get involved sometimes, actually. You are really good. You are great in all these arguments, and I see them all. You're great, and I agree with. I don't think I've ever seen something that you've written that I don't agree with. But I mean, guys, I don't know whether everyone agrees with me. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. We're all in this together, yes. and you know, and there is room for all of us. There really is.
No, it's true. And I mean, I think what it all comes down to at the end of the day as well is that you seem to genuinely enjoy doing what you're doing. And I think that is one of the reasons why you have staying power, is people see that and they have fun with it and they connect with you. And I know that's something we talked about at Blackpool too, is that humanizing factor where people actually know that you're a real person doing this stuff. And that's something a lot of people get lost out there. They think they have to be something or do something that they're not, which kind of goes back to the competition. You looking around and trying to mimic or whatever. I mean, no one can be you. So I think that's another thing people should always keep in mind.
That's true. So. I don't know whether it was in one of his books or whether he said it in an interview or something, but Darren Brown, he's one of my all-time heroes. I adore that man. He said it's don't be he said one of the most sincerest forms of flattery is when people copy you, and it's fine to have that person copy you. Yeah. You know, because, you know, I mean, how many people have copied his style? Pretty much everyone, right? I know I have from time to time, especially when I was back in the day doing stage shows. But then I think that it is important to. It certainly helped me on my journey. Any bits I picked up stuff from so many people. There's one of my favorite magicians out there is a guy called Dan Alexander. Or he's also known as Daniel Bowring. I don't know if he's watching this, but Dan Alexander, you have no idea how much you've influenced me. He's Richard Steele, yes, mate. Dan Alexander's his style of he kind of has the similar sort of thing as Garrett Thomas in that just makes real magic happen, and that I found myself copying him, and then I've also found myself doing a gig with him. And then suddenly hearing myself maybe say a line that my brain is clearly just copied off him. And I'm like, you know, I suddenly realized, shit, no, don't copy him, you know, but certainly be influenced by it. And I think it's cool to be influenced, but I've definitely been influenced by people. I don't know where this came from again.
It was just the whole thing about being yourself, you know, being genuine. Yeah. And not trying to be something that you're not, because
don't try and be someone that you're not, but do be influenced by people, because, you know, all of us are such a cliche, but we are standing on the shoulders of these amazing people, and if we're just to ignore them, no, you know, let's learn from them, and
well said. So one last thing to ask you is, if you had one piece of advice for someone that's looking to jump into this, and I know that's a very vague thing, but if you had one thing to tell someone, it could be just a quick, short answer, you know. And also, actually, before we get into that, maybe this will be it instead. Is there one platform that you would tell people, this is the one right now that you should hop on? Let's just do that instead. If there's one platform that maybe people are missing and they haven't jumped on yet, is it TikTok? Because I know you've mentioned it a couple of times. Is that the one people should?
My favorite is Instagram. I adore Instagram because it's the right length for what I want to do. It's the right platform for my material. Okay. But if you want to grow quick, TikTok's the platform. TikTok's giving crazy reach to people at the moment, because, you know, it's growing. It's growing. But for me, the most important platform is Instagram and Facebook as well. You know, I mean, Facebook, you know, has become something very different than it was 2 years ago.
How is it though? Something like TikTok, that's the hot thing. How is it though that might not be the thing? And then there's another thing that pops up and people have to start over again. Like, That kind of
Well,
sucks, you know, that
it does suck, Luke. And actually, you've just reminded me of something I was going to say in reply to one of your earlier answers when you said something about putting all the eggs in one basket.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. One thing that I've vowed to myself when I've decided this is my job, that I'm going to be working in social media, that one thing that I said to myself is, well, don't just do Instagram, don't just do Facebook, do Firework. It's a great app. TikTok is great. Do all of these apps. Do everything. Do YouTube, which I'm just trying to get into this year. Do everything and crack it, because who knows? Who knows what's going to die or what's going to take off, and the earlier that you get onto these platforms, the quicker you can grow. The people that got onto Instagram right back when, man, they are huge now.
Speaking of eggs in a basket.
Wow.
That's so good. Even the little music that goes with it's great. I love it. And the ta-da. Oh.
Yeah, that's my bald egg head. Yeah, don't put all your bald heads in one barbershop. It's important. It is important.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're all exciting and they're all fun in their own different ways, and the audiences on them are all different. The Facebook audiences are very different to the Instagram audiences, and the TikTok audience, whilst it's in general a lot younger, it's getting a lot older now, and more older people are getting on that platform. But it's a different kind of consumable. It's just quick bite-sized stuff. It's almost like Instagram stories, but I mean, the king of all of these is Zach King.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
If you guys don't follow Zach King, I would get out there right now and follow him. He is amazing at making videos, right? So he does these sort of CGI type magic, but it's just wonderful. Just go and check it out. But if you look at the way that he's edited, in fact, actually, this is a really good piece of advice. Look at how he's posted on YouTube and how he then takes the same video, slightly tweaks it, maybe slightly tweaks the format, maybe all sorts of different things with it, maybe the caption, whatever, and we'll put it onto TikTok and then it flies there. He is the king of social media exciting videos. And I would advise anyone who wants to get into it to study him and enjoy him, because he's the best. I love him.
He's also a great example of adapting to the platforms, because if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
Vine was where he kind of blew up, right? When that was the thing. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that was, Was it not YouTube? I first saw him on YouTube. I don't know where he first. Yeah, I guess he probably did. It probably was Vine, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think that's where he kind of started, and then everything else kind of kicked off for him, and he kind of branched out. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was Vine where he got his start. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a king. He's a king. You said if there's one piece of advice.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything like too big. 'Cause I know I've taken up way too much of your time here.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Be the audience you want to perform to, and study how you are.
Right on. Well said.
Because that way you'll end up making things that you enjoy watching, and you'll make it to a standard and a quality that you would want to watch, and you'll enjoy doing it. I think that's really important.
You know that Neil's serious when he brings it down to the serious.
I'm very rarely serious.
You got real there for a second, so there you go. All right. Well, Neil, we're going to let you run, man. I know you got an early morning with Julius, so hop in your flight there. So safe travels, obviously, my friend.
Thank you, Luke, mate. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
I got you 2 times in a week, man. I got you at Blackpool, and I got you on here. So I'm super thankful. So appreciate you.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. Thanks for having me on. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Very cool. All right. Well, there you go, guys. One of the best around. He's killing it out there. Definitely check him out at the Neil Henry. That's his Instagram. Also over on Facebook, he's been blowing them, going viral over there too. And it just goes to show you, if there's one lesson to take away from this, it's everything Neil told you, but also that you can just be a really cool, decent person while doing big things. And that's something that I think a lot of people could learn a great lesson from. So Much love to Neil and to you guys for all the great questions. I know there were a lot of things we probably didn't get a chance to get to, but there's only so much time in a day. Also, don't forget, we are doing a giveaway for Sentimental. All you need to do is like and comment on this video, and you're entered to win that. We'll announce the winner on next week's show. And speaking of next week, we do have a great guest, Sean Scott, joining me from Las Vegas. Sean Scott's going to give you the real deal what street magic is all about. People think street magic is David Blaine style stuff with cameras and people reactions. It's not at all what it is. We're going to tell you exactly what street magic really is because he does it here in Las Vegas. So stay tuned for that next week. So appreciate you guys again. Thank you so much. If you've just joined us for the first time, hope it's not the last time. Don't be a stranger. Appreciate you over there, Mark, and all of you guys out there. And if you are joining us, make sure to turn on your live notifications. So when we do these live things, you are hooked up. Appreciate you over there, Kevin. Appreciate you, sir. All right. So all you guys out there, have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and I will catch you right back here next time for our next episode with my good friend, Mr. Sean Scott. Much love this week, though, to Neil Henry. Check him out at the Neil Henry. You can thank me later. Catch you guys later. See ya. Thanks, Ellis. Okay.